Mercury. I think I said that right. All right, then. All right, so we back, yo. Another Q&A, and we're gonna make some adjustments to last time because I was hanging up on people a little bit too early. But if you call in this time, we're gonna let you get your point across. We're gonna let you speak. We're gonna take some patience with you because we want to take everything you're saying because, like I said, we're using y'all as a catalyst to show you how ignorant people are in their Lord self. So we want to break everything down to the molecule so you can be looking at people like, dang, that don't make no sense. Yeah. When you look at it that way, when you line it up with this, when you line it up with the truth, when you line it up with facts, what that person's saying ain't making no sense. And what we're trying to show you is that we can do this through the teachings of the Most Honorable Prophet and leader of Christ in any area: astrology, biology, quantum physics, melanin, and grounded. It doesn't matter what area of science you want to talk about, what school of thought you belong to, we can destroy it. And we're gonna do it right here on live. So get anybody. Nolo, Pharaoh, or Oreo, it don't matter who you bring it don't matter. We got callers coming in right now. On point. Let's get straight into it. Let's get it. And the way we're gonna hang up on you if you blatantly being disrespectful. Right. If you disagree all day, but we're gonna use you, like I said, as an example for the brother. And let Dom know, man, if you've been talking about it. He said, okay.
Alright, so I want to reason about language. And what's the highest frequency of language that you feel there is?
What's the highest frequency of what now?
Language.
Language. Highest frequency of language. The highest.
Yeah. So like how we speak in English right now, English is a low frequency form of communication.
No, go ahead. That's not true though, because you have to understand the language that we speak. A lot of people, I know what you're talking about. So a lot of people think that because we speak English, you're not using certain tones and you're at a low vibe because of the short-winded of breath and how we're speaking. Like the very act of speaking the English language, right? People think that it blocks your breath and capacity to be able to truly vibrate in your higher self or vibrate in a higher frequency to project yourself. But you have to understand, it's not the language, it's how you're speaking the language. You have to project from your diaphragm. We're supposed to actually be speaking from a diaphragm. So when you see people here in foundation, you think we're yelling at you. We're not. We're actually just projecting our voice from our diaphragm to be able to talk, to come across to y'all. That's how we're supposed to speak. You know, but they don't teach you that. That's why people in Babylon, they have like, they talk quiet and they breathe quiet. Yeah, that's not how we're supposed to be. You're supposed to talk loud. Diaphragm. That's how you're supposed to. You're supposed to be breathing from your diaphragm. So that's the simple short answer to that.
Right. And on top of that, and on top of that, if you look into nature, right? Nature, they're not speaking any language except body language. So the most intelligent language is really body language. An animal can pick up on your vibration as quick as that. They can see you. They can understand they can tell what your intentions are. Your heart, because of your body language. That's really the most intelligent. You ever picked up a vibe when you walk into a room?
Right. So then we would go to energy. Then would you say that energy is the? Would you say that energy is the?
Hey, if you look at it from this perspective as well, right? English, the way black people, when we break it up, we naturally turn it back into a higher vibrational form. Whereas the European would say nigger, we say nigga.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We take their language and we break it up. Broken French, broken Spanish, broken Latin. None of the methods that we use to speak through the European language is in the form of the original form that the European brought it to us in. We change it and make it fit our vibration.
Right. That's a fact. That's a
real shit. You got another question?
If it doesn't load back.
Is everything good? We coming in clear on iron? It might be the internet. Yeah, that's the power of melanin. Everything black people do that the European has given us, we take it and we make it our own. And that's why we're super ignorant in Babylon, because we was given ignorance and we amplify battery, it amplifies whatever it touches.
That's a fact.
Next call.
Right. Next call.
Get it.
Let's call.
Hey, that was a good point, bro. That was a good point. He was like, wait, hold on, wait. He was like, I know where this is going. I got it. Back up. Let's do right, we waiting for clarity 2 times. Anybody call in? Can anybody join? It's a fact, money team. Anybody can join, man. Like I said, we're taking anything, breaking it down to the molecule, making it factual. The only time you're gonna get blocked and hung up on is if you're being blatantly disrespectful. Right? We don't tolerate that. So waiting clarity 2 times. Waiting for her to come in. I'm not sure. We're gonna send you another one. We're gonna say that was a good call. He came in. He came in with a different energy than he left out with. That's the point. That's how you're supposed to come in. That's the point. Money team deal. We land you with that, money team. Okay. I wouldn't spend too much time commenting.
Yeah.
If you want to get your point across, comment.
Yeah, I got a question about gods in general.
Okay. All right. What specifically?
I keep hearing everybody say like it's not real, but when I'm looking at y'all are like putting me in the mood to be a god, you know?
Yeah.
I keep saying like I'm a god, you know, but I just want to get that across.
Right. See, the thing is, right? God is all things. God is operating on different frequency of itself, right? When you realize that you're God, when you truly understand that, okay, I'm God, I'm everything. There's certain things, there's certain actions you have to take after that. You can't say, because God, right? God is God. So God wants to give himself the best of all things. You can't say I'm God and stay in Babylon. You can't say that you're God and live in Babylon. You can't say that I'm God, but you got on a shirt and a name tag that you got from Target. And right at Walmart. You can't say that I'm God and be putting up at the drive-thru at McDonald's. There's certain avenues, there's certain things you have to do once you reach the Christ conscious, the understanding that you're God.
Right. You cannot say that you're God and then dishonor God. You are God, so why would you eat meat? Why would you go to work? Why would you not connect to the earth? Why would you not be humble enough to sleep on the earth? Why would you not take care of your body? Why would you dye your hair? You can't say you're God and dye your hair. You can't say you're God and do all these things and live against nature. This is why you must honor your God's creation, which is you. This is why you don't kill bugs and blatantly and shit. Like, no, my nigga, you're supposed to be a very humbleness when you're God, and you have to take care of yourself and honor God's creation.
And that's another thing. God, the concept of God has been poisoned and tainted from the European mindset. So from the environment that we were into, from the environment that we came into and the system, it's something that's been tainted and poisoned. So we don't have the idea or concept of what God is. We think God, right man, is going to come out of the sky. Not realizing that you yourself are God. You know, that if you knew you were God, God is a balance between masculine and feminine. So within this balance, you have to keep yourself balanced. That means you got to provide yourself with the very best. That's why we say, I love myself. You're a part of the nation. Because we understand first and foremost that I am God. And to love thyself truly is to give yourself the best that life has to offer in this reality. So that means I'm going to give myself the best people. I'm going to put myself in the best environment. I'm going to make sure I have the best frequencies that I'm responding to. I'm going to make sure I'm in direct communication with the universe. You know what I mean? That's what God is. God is understanding that it's the universe, that it is in communication and in connection with itself. Everything is God. I mean, I'm literally a reflection of everything that I see. And that's the highest frequency that you can exist in. I wanted to say something too, right? So, like I said, God is all things. There's different expressions of God, right? So right now, in the earth plane, you and I are what? We're God in human form.
Yeah.
Now we got to look at what does the human being, what does God need in human form? We can't deny that there's objective things, regardless of how people feel, that produces the best quality human being. For example, food. Let's take a look at food, bro.
Yeah.
Let's look at food, God. Are you eating like a God right now? Is McDonald's something that God would feed itself? Is Hot Pockets, Cheetos, what God would feed itself? Maybe the lower frequency of God, because like I said, all things are God. But you, clearly, you want to vibrate where? To the highest capacity of what God is. So you have to look at the food. Just line yourself up with what you're giving yourself, and then you can understand if you truly believe and understand that you're God. We can move on to the water. Would God drink or limit itself to bottled water or tap water that's tainted with chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, and other chemicals? God would be where? To the source, at a river. at a river, free-flowing fresh water. Do you know how much water is flowing in the tropics right now? It's hundreds of gallons per second. Per second, bro. There's no way that a human being, God in human form, should be restricted to bottled water and tap water and a water bill. Then we can move on to the air quality. Are you giving yourself the best air quality in your environment as God? Is oxygen something that we should just brush off and not act as if it's very important? No, they're spraying chemtrails in your sky right now.
That's us.
They're spraying chemtrails. And then to move on to the last point is the sunlight. The sunlight. Are you getting enough sunlight where you are right now? Clear understanding is no, because if you were, it would not get cold where you at. When you at the highest frequency of sunlight capacity on the earth plane, there is no wintertime. There is no snow. Where I am, there is no snow.
It does not snow.
There's no cold weather.
Snow at
This
all.
does not happen. And the reason why we are vibrating at the highest frequency of God is because we line ourselves up with the best of what is supposed to be given to a human being that says that they're God. So don't be fooled by anybody in Babylon. If they claim to be God and they're still in Babylon, this person is a false prophet. They are lying and they don't mean you no good. Yeah, you got
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
in addition to that, right, the people you associate yourself with is also a factor in dealing with what's best for you as a human. You can be vegan, you can be all of that, you can have the best water, everything. But you can be around very negative people, lowering your vibration, because life is sex. You're having sex with them. It doesn't have to be physical, just talking to someone. And you're taking in their energies. That's not honoring God's creation. You know what I mean? That's degrading, dealing with a demon, someone that's always thinking negatively. You want to deal with people that are on a high vibration that's going to build you up, help you become the best version of yourself, the best version of God through you. So the people, it's bigger than that. Peopletarianism.
God is energy, life is sex. You have to understand that. And one last thing I just want to say is that Babylon is a frequency of mind. It's a state of the mind, but it's a place that's actually meant for bottom feeders and surface public. That means the lowest of the low vibrational beings will hang out there. This is where the devil's playground is. You have to understand, as God, we talk about the devil. The devil is God in disguise. It's just a lower frequency of what God is. You know what I mean? Not knowing who it is. So a higher self version of God will understand who it is and will be fully, completely self-aware. So that's what separates you from people in Babylon, is the fact that you are conscious, fully conscious of who you are and what this is.
That's a fact, right?
You had any more questions, bro?
No, because I was listening to like one of your you talking one day. You was like smoking cigarettes and wearing shoes is a sin, and he was like, that's not of God or whatever. I was just like, okay. Yeah.
You understand how that's not of God, right?
Yes, sir. I understand that.
Yeah. All right, God. Peace, God.
All right, God.
Peace myself.
Love myself.
Back. Yep. All right, next call. Next call, man. I think we can move up a little bit since it's only 3 of us. Oh yeah. So we can actually come up closer, read the comments and whatnot. Yeah. All right. So Vanessa, Elise, we let you in, and Love Mother Scorpio. I think you need to update your Instagram now because it says you're unable to join. Yep. So I'm gonna try to update Instagram and then come back in because you're gonna be here. Update.
Hi.
You're keep down. See you.
I just have a question. I want to know, is smoking weed a sin?
Smoke doesn't belong in your body.
That
You breathe in. What do you breathe in?
Air.
Well, it's oxygen. Oxygen, right? So you breathe out what? What do you breathe out? What do you get oxygen from the trees, and then you return back a certain chemical compound back to the tree. You know what that is? It's carbon dioxide. So when you smoke, carbon dioxide is actually the chemical compound that you're putting inside your body. So if you're designed to exchange and give back carbon dioxide, why would you inhale it?
That's breathing backwards.
That's literally living backwards. Your design, your lungs, you can just look at it simple. Your lungs are designed to only filter oxygen, not carbon dioxide. So when you smoke, you're literally going against your own self. And the only reason you do smoke is because you have a fabricated culture that supports this retarded form of existence. If other people wasn't doing it and you was by yourself and you smoked some weed, you would be like, damn, that was stupid. And you would not do it again. But because you have a culture with niggas like Wiz Khalifa making that shit look cool, you okay with being stupid.
And they saying that it's like a natural plant, so it can't because it's like of the earth. Because so it can't be descent. So I got it confused.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Because listen, I smoked for 5 years. I was a smoker. I used to smoke weed every single day in Babylon. And what we come to find out, what the most honorable prophet, he of Christ, come to find out what the teaching is the fact that weed is not something that's supposed to be smoked. You're actually supposed to digest it. It's supposed to aid certain symptoms. I'm not saying that weed doesn't have any chemical properties that will help aid symptoms. That is a fact. It will help aid symptoms. But what I want you to understand with weed is actually when we used it in our traditional times, we did use marijuana. It was ingested through eating it. And if we didn't eat it, even a more spiritual way to utilize it as a plant would just to be going out in its natural environment where we grow. You grow into a natural environment, and that solar noon, the sun would be hitting the weed plants. It would hit the buds, and the buds would actually activate and send out a pheromone where we would naturally get high based off the vaporization of the buds. So when you're walking in the forest and you smell weed and you start to get a little high, that's because the sun is activating the cannabinoids within the plant in order for it to send out a pheromone to get you high. So it was naturally used, not in the way that we use it because we bastardized it, but it's a natural usage of it, which is to go to the area and just to, bask in the essence of the weed plant, and you would get a little buzz or whatever, and you go about your business. But it was not meant to be abused how we're using it. You know what I'm saying? It was never meant to be smoked.
Right. I wanted to say something too about as far as the relationship between chlorophyll and melanin, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you this question. You seem very intelligent, like you have an open mind, right? So you know that melanin absorbs light. You understand that? Melanin is in our skin, it's in our hair, it's in our eyes. And what has identical properties to melanin in the plant is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll also absorbs light. So with this understanding of light absorption, right? Which one do you think is vibrating higher? The melanin or the chlorophyll? The plant or you?
Me.
So why would you smoke something that's a low vibrational at a low vibration than you are and call it getting high?
Right. Okay, that makes
Now,
sense.
it doesn't make any sense when you look at the scientific properties of what you're doing. But like I said, because there's a retarded culture that pushes it, you think it's okay and it sounds good and you just do it because you're being programmed subconsciously. But looking at the properties of melanin versus chlorophyll, melanin absorbs thousands of times more light than chlorophyll. So the marijuana plant doesn't even have the capacity to absorb more sunlight than you do. So if you truly wanted to get high, you need to go to the sun. Because your melanin is going to absorb all of that EMF field, and EMF field is nothing more than a fancy word for light.
I also want to say this, right? Everything you do should be divine and it should be sacred. The way people treat weed nowadays is like the European treated us back in the day. We treat weed like the European had slaves. When you do the weed unsacred, you sell it, you modify it, and then you wrap it up in a bag and sell it. Imagine if you were wrapped up in a bag and sold. That is very inhumane and unsacred. So we should, it's
not in its natural environment.
That's a fact.
It's not even in its natural environment. The natural environment, the weed plant was in the tropics, in the area. You know what I mean? So they actually took it from its natural environment. You see, what we do the thing is a reflection of our mind and how we treat each other. So, same thing.
And there's a disconnection between us and the planet. This is the source of all of our ignorance. We don't realize that the earth and us are one. We're one and the same. But because we have a disconnect between the weed plant and ourselves, that's why we get to treat the weed plant like it. Because it makes us feel good. We think it's okay. And like Master Pike said, that's why the European had Negro slaves, because it made their life better. They had a disconnect through the skin color. So they used that as an excuse to say, oh, this is okay because it makes me feel good. And that's what we're doing with the weed plant. But because it's a plant, doesn't mean that we get to do whatever we want to do with it. It sounds crazy, but it's the same thing you would have to explain to a European. Right? Hey, it's not okay. They're not animals. Right? They're humans. This sounds ridiculous, don't it?
Yeah, it makes sense though to put together.
That's a fact.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Why they want to give it back? Because you have to understand that you have to understand when we take from nature, you have to give back. When you eat an apple, you're supposed to give the seed back in order to plant another seed in order for another tree to sprout and produce. Because that's the exchange that we have. As well as the carbon oxygen exchange that we just talked about, we also have an exchange with our pot, our soil. We're actually supposed to, just like every animal in nature, they give their pot back and their urine back to the soil because it helps create nutrient rich. When we pot, when we empty our cup, we're actually letting out nutrients that doesn't get stored in the body, that's actually supposed to go to the earth to help fertilize the soil and help keep things natural and organic. So this is what we're supposed to be doing. There's a direct communication. When you understand your communication with nature, when you understand your communication with the tree and how you're supposed to give back, then you become more in harmony. Then you start to realize, wow, okay, this is something sacred. What we do, our sacred ways and how we were supposed to live has been taken from us because we vibrated in our lower self and we disconnected ourselves from nature. This is the result of what you've seen. And this is where you get people making dogs, their pets and shit like that. It's not natural. It's not natural.
I also want to say this, right? It's not safe. It's really not safe to be smoking weed. It's genetically modified by the government. If you get your weed, you're like, where did it come from? Where did that weed come from? What is the source of that weed, that marijuana? What are you really smoking? You know the ingredients of that marijuana? It's genetically modified by the government. There is no more organic weed nowadays. They have hybrids and shit like that they make. So it's like, it's not safe to even intake or ingest, consume marijuana anymore. It's modified. They put you in a state of a lower vibration. And then on top of that, right, if you're smoking it, right, like we were talking about, smoke doesn't belong in the body at all. You're breathing backwards, right? So that all that time you were smoking, you're depriving your brain of oxygen. Therefore, you're going to be on a lower state of consciousness. You're not going to be able to take in more high frequency rays as far as like gamma rays and a heightened perception. So it's like you're actually lowering your vibration by smoking. So then, right, there's something called cerebral hypoxia when you smoke. So it's like you're going to be able to look it up. It's basically, you can get, what is it? What are they?
The cerebral hypoxia, basically what it is when you're in an environment where there's not enough trees and enough oxygen to produce the brain wave, basically what happens is cerebral hypoxia is just a state of the mind that happens when you're not getting enough oxygen to the brain. So when you're in an environment where there's high oxygen levels, you don't have high carbon levels, and there's not enough oxygen, this is where it creates a mental dis-ease within the brain where you're not vibrating at a high frequency, where you're not thinking clear. Like if you ever had a shortage of wind or a shortage of oxygen and your perception and your intuition, like the way that you're thinking is off, it's because you're not getting enough oxygen. Oxygen is very important for the cells of your body. It's very important for your brain because the oxygen is helping transport signals throughout the body in order for you to think. So you're not even sending signals. Your neurons aren't even firing properly because you're not sending signals to other neurons in the brain for you to think. So it's a very important thing, and this is something that the most honorable prophet Leo Christ has been teaching and talks about in some of his downloads, is the fact that when you live in a city, there are no trees. And what is the result of humans living in an environment where you don't have enough oxygen? And you can see the cities, you can see how tense it is, you can see how people are honking the horn, you can hear all these unnatural sounds, people are stressed the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? They're stressed. And this is not what we're supposed to be in.
So there's no trees, barely any oxygen, and you smoking Newports and marijuana. Your consciousness is very
I don't
low.
smoke Newport. I mean, I do stay in Michigan. We don't get a lot of sunlight here, so.
And that's a problem. That's a problem. It's a problem that you don't get, especially for melanated people, right? But when you have a lot of melanated
Where do you guys live?
We live in Central America. Yep. Between the tropical Cancer and the tropical Capricorn is the highest capacity of light that the sun emits in the earth.
I thought that it was best to live closest to the equator.
Yes. The Tropic of Capricorn is the natural ley lines where all humanity belongs between. It's the highest frequency of sunlight being beamed to the earth planet. Yes.
Okay.
It is the equator. That's fact.
The equator line goes like this. It's like a wave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Any more questions though?
No, thank you. I appreciate
that.
Thank you.
That looked good. Good call. Next.
Some people was asking some interesting questions, but like I said, if you want your question answered, the best chance you would have is call in because I might listen. I seen some good ones, but I couldn't get to them in the moment. Try clarity again. Yeah. Some people asked some good questions, but I couldn't get to them.
And you can click on the people too if they're asking questions.
I think that's the whole point of them commenting because they're too much of a coward. Too coward.
Right. Well, if you do ask them a question, we might click on you or ask you to join. If you don't, then we're not going to answer your question.
No, yeah, you bro, man, no cap.
Bro, man,
that's
no
it. Bro, man, no cap.
Right.
Is there a reason why you're not on camera?
Yo.
You're
Oh, peace. I just want to ask a question about stop eating meat because I just stopped eating steak.
You got
I want to know how do I go about transforming from eating meat to not eating meat.
That's bad. All you gotta do is get the basic diet cookbook. Right? The cookbook is designed for you to be able to transition to being a vegan and eat and like what you're eating at the same time. Because a lot of times we end up falling back into eating meat because the food we eat don't taste good. Niggas feel like we gotta eat a lettuce sandwich. Ain't nobody trying to eat no lettuce sandwich, man. I ain't trying to eat no lettuce sandwich. This is what I want you to eat. Like, and it's designed specifically for melanated people. The vitamin B6 actually helps build melanin. It actually promotes melanin repair and the buildup and the production of melanin, right? So not only that, it's gonna make you feel good about being a vegan. Yeah. You don't have the carbonation B6 diet cookbook, do you? You don't have it.
Nah, I ain't even gonna count to you. I know Natureboys is. I know y'all is. I've been following y'all for not too long. Probably like a week or so.
Chief.
Yeah, Chief. My bad.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
I just started following y'all page or whatever. And this is my first time ever on y'all live. You know what I mean? But I look at all y'all videos. You know that the people that don't like y'all post on YouTube. That's how I know who y'all are.
So you found through the trolls and the hater page.
Facts.
Right. That's what their purpose is. They promote.
Yeah.
That's what their job is. They don't understand. They don't understand that they're working for the most honorable prophet and leader of Christ. The more they hate, the more they promote him for free. These niggas are literally working for free to promote the truth, and they don't even know it. They think they're trying to destroy something, but the more they hate, the more people want to pay attention.
Yeah. Fact. Right. Cause I ain't gonna count. That wasn't made me pay attention.
Right. And look. And the most honorable prophet and leader of Christ explained this recently, that the haters play as a barrier, right? So they attract and they deflect people who are too weak to think for themselves. So when people see the hater page, they're gonna do one or two things. Either they're gonna be interested and use their own critical mind and say, hey, I want to know what this is about. Or two, they're gonna fall in line with the haters and get taken away from something that was designed for them specifically and for their best interest and their best benefit. See, you were smart. You didn't fall for the haters. You said, let me use my critical mind and see what this is about. And you ended up finding something that, like I said, was designed for you.
Facts, and I'm watching y'all go, debate against people first before I got there and requested in. I wanted to see where y'all was at. And I understand where y'all were, you know what I mean? I respect what y'all doing too, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. What procedures I gotta go through to buy this cookbook though?
It's free.
Oh shit, it's free?
Yeah, we don't charge. Nothing we do is for charge. It's not for charge, not for profit. The cookbook's free, the music is free, the video is free, everything is free. The only price you have to pay is actually apply it to your life. Right. That's the only price you have to pay. That's the only price. Yeah. So
alright, look, I want to say something real quick.
Alright.
Cause y'all, everything y'all saying touched me. Cause I ain't showing off for them, but I smoke weed and Newport. Look on everything. I ain't gonna smoke. I put it on everything.
Look, John. And the crazy part about it is, when we look at you, we see ourselves. The Newport, a nigga about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was smoking them bitches too, bro. My fault. I was smoking them too. I was smoking Newports too. But I had to accept what I was doing to myself, man, on an objective level. I'm literally sitting here destroying my lungs, polluting my blood vessels, and making myself stay in a lower vibrational state. I had to tell myself, bro, you deserve way better than this, dog. Right? Yeah. You deserve way better than Newports and weed. I deserve better than that, and I realized how much of a slave I was to the nicotine. Right, and to get high, I had to literally.
Hey, I'm a slave getting high. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, but
look, hold on. I'm gonna show y'all one more thing. Hold on.
Right.
Look, hold on. This is how much time we got a week.
That's what I'm saying. No, man. Plus the weed. Plus the weed. Look, listen. And I'm using you, right? This is what the call is for, because you represent a lot of people in Babylon. What's your reason why you smoking weed? And I know why you smoking weed, because I told you I used to be in that position. You smoke weed because you're trying to escape from dealing with something that is really important in your life. And that's what everybody doing drugs for. They want it's escapism, bro. And it's sad that people have built the culture around not dealing with important issues. Now look at me. I ain't dealing with nothing in my life. I'm smoking. How is that cool? What is cool about not dealing with you? Look at me, I'm over here at the club, not dealing with myself. Look at me, I'm getting high, not dealing with myself. Look at me, I'm lighting up, not dealing with myself. How is that cool? It's not. Weed also has health benefits, and that's a weak cop-out and an excuse, bro. Stop looking at what weed is doing for you on a health benefit and figure out why you're sick in the first place. Get to the source of why you're sick and stop trying to cover it up with another cover-up. The reason you sick is the environment you living in. If you left the environment, you wouldn't even need the weed. Right. It's pathetic, man. It's pathetic, dog. That niggas is doing everything they can to not deal with the fact that you in an environment that's making you sick. But you too much of a pump to leave Babylon. You too much of a pump.
Look, the thing about Babylon, I don't really follow the rules. I don't really care about. This is how I live. I ain't gonna lie to you. I live to support, my family. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find to live for myself. You feel me? I don't live for me. I live for everybody else. I could die tomorrow. You feel me? I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I own my own business. I work through the company, because I'm stuck here. I mean, I could leave, but. I got a lot of money over here. You know what I mean?
I want to give him a clear point. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to let you get it, dog. Because it's like, like I said, you represent a lot of people that have a million excuses not to get up underneath their slaves. If your ancestors seen what you was doing today, would they be proud of you, knowing what the European did? Would they be proud of you living up underneath that system? Or would they be proud of you leaving and reestablishing the indigenous way that we came from in the first place? European people disgust me. They disgust me with their tributes, with their honors, with their T-shirts, with their movies, with their documentaries. You disgust me. Because if the same ancestors you exalt and uplift saw you today, they would be sick. That you're still in the same position that we started from 500 years ago. And they will be disgusted. And you have a chance to leave. That is pathetic. It's like pathetic, dog. It's like a wave. That's crazy you said that, because it's like a wave. Like people wake up, right? We get to a pinnacle, right? We get to a certain point where it's time to leave. It's actually time to do something, like jumping off a cliff, but then you don't do it. And that's the reason we get stuck. And people get caught up in these reincarnation traps. People get caught in these loops. People get caught up in NOI, people get caught up in the Moors, people get caught up in Pan-Africanism, they get caught up in all of these schools of thought, but these schools of thought aren't actually pushing you forward. I was in Babylon. Like you said, like you were smoking weed, you were drinking, doing all that. Like I did all that. I was drinking, I was smoking. I was actually a byproduct of my environment, where I came from.
I was sick. I was using weed and I was using other substances in order to escape my reality because I wasn't facing the facts of what was going on in my reality. I was very uncomfortable, as you should be. And if you're trying to make yourself comfortable in that environment, then you are just trying to negate the fact that you're not supposed to be living there. When you really, smoke clears and the high wears down, you start looking at life and you're like, what am I doing here? You start asking really good questions. You start looking around and you start wanting to seek answers. You try to find the truth. That's how you know you're a pure soul. That's how you know you're someone that's here that was chosen, is that you're searching for, you're seeking truth. And that's exactly what I went through. I went through the Phil Valentine. I went through the Bobby Hemmets. I went through Dick Gregory. I went through all these schools of thought. These people had nothing.
I did too.
You see what I'm saying?
Dick Gregory was my hero for a long through high school.
You see?
Bro, it's like this, right?
But y'all, I ain't gonna lie.
Don't want to be there, bro. You really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, innately, you rebel against the system. Like, you automatically don't like the government. And the reason being is because you don't belong there. You all black men that's in the U.S. and in Babylon, the States right now, high key, don't want to be there. And if you had a choice to be in nature and tropics or there easily, you would be like, I'm moving to nature. But you have excuses now. But listen, all you need is faith. That's it. That's really all you need is faith. And your attention and your focus, and put it onto manifesting your way and your family. If you really want to support them, take them to the tropics. Take them in between the tropics of Cancer and the tropics of Capricorn. In between those ley lines, come closer to the source. Because really, you don't want to be there. You really don't. You would rather not. And it's like you have to take those steps. And faith is required.
I got one question I want to ask. Just one question. If the system shuts down, government shuts down, what is the black people going to look like in that environment? But you're in your situation. What are we going to look like if the system shuts down? If everything shuts down, there's no more work, there's none of that.
See me, I'm gonna survive. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't
have
to. Look. But as a whole, we gonna fall rapidly.
You see what I'm saying? Right, exactly. And that should let you know right there. That's the key right there. When you get to that consciousness, when you get to that level of understanding, see, this is how God thinks, right? A God will think about things and have premonitions of things that are going to take place before they take place, so that you can position yourself in the best environment and put yourself in the best place, position to win. So you can look at that and you can be like, wow, the system, if the system falls, and everything happens, we're not going to be in a good predicament. That's why you want to get yourself to a better environment. You got to look at the natural resources and the things that we're getting that are even fueling that environment come from the tropics. Everything you need comes from your natural environment. Right. Everything's getting imported. So for you to understand that, puts you in a retrospect to be like, wow, if you look at every animal, right? Humans are part of the animal kingdom. Humans are animals. So if you look at every animal species, they have a natural environment. And in that natural environment, they have everything they need. So you, as a human species, you see what I'm saying? You got to find yourself the best.
I want to say something too, because a lot that it's. I can tell that a lot of people in the chat room, they really GMO. They live in a fantasy world. The internet has created this fantasy world where people can escape and they don't have to deal with reality. A lot of people say they're going to go back to primitive living. Okay. Niggas can't even cooperate on Black Friday.
Oh, hell.
When the system shuts down and there's no water and there's no more food, I don't know, but it's already been shown to you. Purge 1, 2, and 3. People are going to be murdering each other for the little bit of food. I don't know what type of psychedelic or weed you're smoking, where when the system falls, everybody's going to come together and we're going to work together and we're going to figure this out. No, niggas are mad at each other on the way to work, in their car, and traffic. When people ain't got no food, no lights, no water, when the niggas in Detroit ain't got no more heat, we're gonna come together and we're gonna go primitive living. We're gonna grow our own food. That's what we're gonna do.
That ain't gonna happen.
You're going to kill each other for the last remaining sources because your subconscious mind is still in a reptilian state. If a dude would step on my back for a PlayStation 4, on Black Friday,
don't play the PlayStation 4 right there.
For the last loaf of bread in Walmart when the government shut down. So live in your fantasy world all you want, because you got lower self demons, which are a reflection of you, saying that, I love a man that stands behind his family. Any man that accepts his so-called family in Babylon is not a man at all. Right? He is not someone who makes good chess moves. If the system falls, you want to be in an environment where food is growing abundantly, not where food is being imported on trucks and ships. Because when niggas ain't getting paid no more, ain't nobody driving them ships no more. So if you look at Northern Hemisphere, it is not a place that has an abundance of food. All the water that you had is polluted. That's all of the sunlight that you need, it's not there. All of the oxygen, look here. You're in a literal prison.
Yeah. See? Look.
Bro.
That's what I'm talking about.
And let's just understand, I'm leaving with this, right? And we're going to get somebody else in. Life is chess, bro. The position you're in right now as a piece on the board, you're not in a good position, right? Everybody that's trying to come up with these excuses on why we can live in Babylon are foolish people. They're very comfortable. They fat rats. When a rat gets fat, it's okay being inside the maze, right? Until it wakes up and realizes that it's in a prison. But that's okay though. Everybody ain't supposed to make it. The reason that a wall is being built between your only escape from the United States towards the sun is not the accident. And it's okay. Keep playing your PlayStation. Or keep watching Netflix. The police are beating people up down in the street. It ain't even been declared martial law. What do you think the military is for? To protect and to protect and to serve? To defend
I was in the military too.
I was too. And for that money, and when the orders come, those soldiers will kill you. And all that support the troop stuff you were saying and waving them flags will not matter. Because nobody in the military has any guts to go against that government as long as they been getting fed, as long as they been getting paid, it will blow your head off and say that it's for patriotism. So and they will put you, happily detain you, and put you in these concentration camps. Happily, FEMA camp, they will happily put you there and say that and salute the flag while doing it. Right.
Hear about it.
So play with it if you want to. I'm going to say this and then we're going to let you go. Nobody in Babylon has your best interest in mind more than you do. When the food get low, it's going to be every man for themselves, every dog for himself. When the water get low, you're going to see who your real family is when stuff get real. But that's okay. Stay in your fantasy world where you're going to survive, where you're going to build stuff, and you're going to redo America. Okay. Purge.
I don't give a fuck about America. You hear me?
Leave as soon as possible.
It's Exodus. Doctor, get up man.
When you truly understand, whenever you try, you know something. No, maybe get my eyes. So whenever you truly realize the environment you're in, the severity, you don't leave a year later, right? You don't leave I got 2. You be talking about I got a year or 2. Hell, you leave immediately. If I told you there was chemicals in your room right now, how long would it take you to leave? Oh shit. I'm getting out.
I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm jumping out.
Same attitude you need to have in Babylon, alright? That's a fact.
Hey, thank y'all, man. Hey, I donate to y'all too, man.
That's fact.
For real.
Sure. Yo, you spark me. Listen. Look here right here.
I'm about to say something.
Hold on, before you do that, hold up, bro. Because I got mad things to say because, Art, for one, you are in a state of emergency right now. There should be a sense of urgency when it comes to leaving Babylon because you are in a very messed up place right now. And it's not a game. And if it failed right now, what position would you be in? What would the black community be in right now? You know what I'm saying? You would be in a very sticky predicament. Bruh, it's that serious. And you should take your life that serious. If you're that, you know what I'm saying? If you take your life serious, you should leave. We're in a state of emergency right now. And another thing that you said that sparked me, you cannot be a real man in that system at all. The real man is the white man. And you can look at it when you see the black woman. Who's providing for her? Not you. It's the white man. That's why she's able to get so many government jobs. She's actually providing for you. She's the man. You cannot be a real man. You can't protect and provide in a system that's already doing it. That's why they have a white man. That's a man coming. You cannot be a man in that system. So if you really want to protect and provide for your family, you must move back to the tropics so you can actually be indigenous, because right now you're in a fabricated system that's providing everything for you. Which brings me into the thing you said. This is another thing. Bruh, Stockholm Syndrome. People are so comfortable. Stockholm Syndrome is basically when you adapt the ways and the mannerisms of your captor. Basically, that's what niggas have done. We're in a system, we're under a system where we were slaves at one point and now we're free, but now we're still in mental slavery. We still think that the epitome of success is basically Europeanism and white supremacy. In hip-hop, we glorify it. We glorify white supremacy. I got the cars, the hoes, the clothes, the new protect. It's like, bruh, no, that's not the way. So it's like, bruh, you gotta understand people are comfortable in their position right now because they don't know that they're in a state of urgency. They have no clue that if the system shut down, there was economical collapse right now, and the government shut down, and the money was basically worth nothing anymore. Bruh, you would be in a very, very messed up position as a community, as a human, point blank period. So that's why we must come back. And another thing you said, bruh, the subconscious programming is preparing you for basically survival. That's why you have games like you know how they target the youth? Bro, Fortnite, that's a battle royale. Every man for himself. The Purge, The Walking Dead, Hunger Games. They have so many subconscious programming to get you like, bro, ready to kill people. Yeah, The Walking Dead is crazy. They're really subconsciously programming you to get ready for an economic collapse, survive and not thrive. So it's like, bro, you can't be no man. You're getting subconsciously programmed, and you have Stockholm Syndrome. Point blank period. That's what I wanted to say.
Bring somebody else in.
Do Kimmy. Yeah, Kimmy McKenzie. 70. Nah, that's probably the year she walked in.
How you guys doing? I just started following you guys maybe about a couple of weeks ago, and some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with, but again, I don't know you guys' transition. But my question is, what made you guys transition to where you are now? I mean, all three of you. What made you guys want to do what you're doing now?
I'll keep it short so everybody can give their testimony. So, I've always been a seeker of knowledge. I always wanted to know stuff. I'm a Gemini moon, so what gives me emotional satisfaction is knowing stuff, being interested in different fields of thoughts, who's thinking this and how do you get this, and just knowledge in general, right? So I was in the military for about 7 years, and I was doing information and research on and off, right? I was getting involved, like you said, with people like Dick Gregory, Don Umar, Brother Polite, just a bunch of people. I was just trying to know what other people didn't know. And so after a while, I started paying attention to the mindset of the people around me. And I realized that the people around me were like literal walking, talking robots for the TV. They only thought about what was on the TV. They only thought about what was on the radio. They only thought about the Super Bowl. And I realized, I was like, dang, I'm the only person that has the ability to think outside of the literal television and the phone. My so-called Babylon family, I realized that they were zombies. They couldn't think higher than what the news was showing them. They didn't have any interest to find out things that mattered in life. They didn't have any desire to improve themselves. So I realized that I felt alone. I realized I was like, man, I'm the only person around here that's not a zombie, that's not a robot. And so once I got into that lonely space, I found the most honorable prophet of the year of Christ. And what he was talking was in a way that was literally speaking directly to me. It was as if me and him were the only two people on the planet that weren't dead. And so what he was doing was showing me how to get out of that dead space. It was basically like someone blowing a horn, shining a light like, hey, hey! It's like being in a space of loneliness, and there's this guy, hey, over here, it's me, hey, I'm you. And I was like, okay. I was like, and it's like undeniable because when you listen to him speak, Nobody else is saying it. Nobody else is doing it. And not only that, what seals the deal for me is that he was from New York.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, you come from where I come from. So the attachment was great because not only did I have someone who was speaking to me, I was with someone or listening to someone that knew my struggle in its entirety. He knew what it's like to be in the military. He knew what it's like to deal with money, to deal with relationships. He knew me in and out without me even knowing who he was. So I took the steps that he provided, and before I knew it, here I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yes. Yeah, I want to share my experience real quick with you because I came from an area where it was. Yeah, come on. So basically, I came from an area where I was actually raised and I was adopted in Baltimore, Maryland. So I was raised in Maine. Maine is an area where there's a lot of white people, and I felt like an outcast immediately. I felt like an outcast because I wasn't around people that looked like me. If you ever seen Kung Fu Panda 3, that's the representation of me because I was like the panda being raised by a duck. So I felt like I was an hardball. So in my environment, I was just like trying to search for anything that made me feel that could replace that hole inside me. I felt like there was a sense of longing, sense of something that I wasn't getting from my environment and the people that were in my environment. I wasn't getting something, like I was missing something. That's how I felt through my whole time. You ever see those commercials where people are like walking around, moving really fast, and you're just standing there in the middle of the That's how I feel. I was just standing there like, like people would buy me, and I'm just like, people graduating, people getting married, and I'm like, I'm still observing, and I was doing the smoking, and I was doing the drinking, and I was doing substances because that really helped me escape my reality, and it gave me a sense of like, oh wow, I can just do this, and I can feel great, and I would replace it. It would act as an aid to the feeling that I had, a sense of loneliness, a sense of like something that I was missing from my reality. So I did that, and on my journey, as I weaned off the drugs and the smoking and stuff like that, that's when I really started to find search for knowledge myself. Actually, about my sister got me into astrology. So I started a little bit into astrology, but I didn't really, I wasn't too into it at that point in time. So I said, fuck that. I searched the internet. That's when I found the Dick Gregory, Bobby Hemmets, and Phil Valentine. That's where I really got tapped and tuned into the Black culture community because I was raised by white men that didn't have that. So I got tapped and tuned into that. And that's when I started really researching about melanin. I started trying to figure out myself. I was spending with the ancestors. Bobby Hemmett having me going around spitting juice in all four corners of my room, doing all that. I was doing all of that, and I was in a weird predicament. And as I did that, I found him online. It was through Facebook. I found him. He was going live. He was doing videos. He was talking about natural environment. He was talking about melanated people, and the darker skinned people are, that means you need to be closer to the equator. The reason why darker pigmented people have bigger noses is because we're supposed to receive more oxygen to the brain in order for us to be able to breathe and think properly. So he was saying things that I've never heard before, never heard before information. So I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I had never heard anything on that. And on top of that, he was creating a movement. Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, even the Moors, they weren't making no movement. I went for people that are Moors. I went to see the computer. That nigga was trash. He wasn't talking about nothing. And I was even trying to see it and conquer his mind. I was trying to see where he was at in consciousness, and he wasn't moving anywhere. He wasn't doing anything. So that's what I did with people. If I saw you were intelligent, you were smart, I'll test you just to see how smart you were, to see if your consciousness or your information could match mine, right? And Chief's information at the time it took my mind somewhere else. I was like, yo, that's crazy. So what I did is I followed him, right? And basically I followed all the knowledge. He had step by step of what you needed to do. Because this time he had already left, already in Costa Rica. He's gone, right? I've been following him probably like 4 or 5 months prior to that. So I took the information. He said currency, let go of all your attachments, quit your job, all of that stuff. I literally followed. I isolated myself for 30 to 90 days. I quit my job. I stopped hanging out with people that had no purpose for me. I stopped smoking cigarettes. I smoked. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing all that shit. I stopped. Basic diet. All of that. I applied all of that to my life, and I aligned myself with the righteous path, with the right purpose of what I'm supposed to do. And literally, as I do that, I see my reality like we start to shift, and everything starts to lock into place. and I start getting my passport. Money starts coming to me. I didn't have a job for 4 months. And I go on my ass for 4 months. I was just going off straight knowledge. I was like, I'm going to proclaim the kingdom. I'm going to get my soul back. I'm going to do everything I need to do. And the universe provided for me everything I needed. I purchased my ticket, shipped out a flight, and I wasn't even sure if he was going to be there or not. I talked to him like mid-flight. Didn't know if he was going to be there at the airport. Sure enough, when I got there at Costa Rica airport, him and Validation at the time were there, and I was like, yo, and it was a really loving, fun experience. But one thing I want you to understand too is been here for 3 years. So there's a lot of people that have come and gone. You know, you've seen, if you've been following us, you've seen a lot of people have come and gone. And the reason that they come and go is because it's very hard to walk on this path. You have to face your demons. You have to face everything about yourself. This is not some like people look at carbonation that, oh yeah, y'all just doing that's easy. No, like when you get to nature, I'm rest assured, everything that you were programmed to be in that system, you really have to work on yourself. Or she just exited.
She brought home body down.
Well, you know, all that, generational curses, all that, you have to work on yourself. So when you see people come and go on carbonation, best believe and know that they were weak. Because we're here to collectively convict the weak. So anyone that's not vibrating on a frequency and that's weak, they're going to fall off the wayside. You know? So 3 years, and yeah, that should show you something. You know what I mean? If Tron's been here for 3 years, there must be a reason for him to be here. All these disciples, people here right now, there's got to be a reason for it. You know what I mean? And the people that left, I want them to know too. They're being convicted. You know what I mean? They convict themselves. You know, so that's my journey. That's how I found the knowledge. It was just allowing me a sense of self and really just trying to find my identity. And I found it because I'm the prophet of the Christ. So I give praise. See, yeah, let's get it.
All right. So you got to call somebody else?
It's the same one.
All right, bet. So, all right, this is my testimony, right? So, I was always a person that was looking for truth, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking outside the box. I never really trusted the government. So, like, conspiracy theories, like, what is the government up to? You know what I'm saying? And I was always on that type of vibe. I did not really mess with the government. I was like, they're trying to kill me, basically. And they are. They're really trying to kill me. So, come to find out, right? I'm like in 11th grade summer in high school. And I come across this video about my higher self had no clue it was my chief. I had no clue how to do it. On the internet, I had no clue it was the most honorable, right? And I'm like, oh wow, there's this man exposing the whole supermarket, the entire supermarket, how there's poison, everything, right? I'm like, oh, I gotta share this. Like this is exactly what I've been trying to say my entire life, basically. They're really trying to kill us. The government is really trying to kill us because they don't care about us. They hate themselves. Anyways, right? So I'm sharing the knowledge and whatnot, and I peep that people don't really care about that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? People really don't. They have a million excuses to do the wrong thing, so they don't really care. So I'm over here trying to share knowledge that no one really cares about. So I keep it to myself. You know what I'm saying? I keep the knowledge to myself. I'm like, you know, people really don't want to hear this, so I'm not about to talk about it. People was calling me crazy. I'm like, bro, this is facts though. Like, you go track the big facts and type. All right, so that's what I'm on, right? So I hit 12th grade, right? So now I'm still listening to the downloads, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't listening to them like all the time, but I was like tuning in where I could because I was still in my lower self. So then, right, it came to a point where I was like, I had graduated high school early, like a semester early, because I was smart. I was like, I'm a very intelligent person, so I graduated early. And I didn't really have nothing to do but work. So I'm working, right? A 9 to 5, saving them money to do whatever I want to do in my life, right? So during this whole time, I had nothing but time. That's it, nothing but time. So this whole time, I'm watching Cheap Life, just downloading. And the more I watched, the more I got convicted. The more I was like, when I got up in the AM, I'm like, what am I doing with life? Why am I going to work? Why am I, money not real? I'm like, yo, I don't even own anything. Like, everything goes back to the bank. I was like, the food, everything. I was getting more and more convicted the more and more I watched. I was like, yo, I cannot keep doing this type of shit. I cannot continue to do the wrong thing now knowing the truth. Go back to nature. So I'm like, you know what? I quit my job. I became vegan. I tried to get people to come with me. I was like, yo, I'm about to go. Like, this is what I'm doing with my life. I'm out. I'm bouncing. I'm going back to the tropics. I'm going to Costa Rica and whatnot, right? So I ended up isolating myself the whole time. Still watching Cheap the entire time. So I isolated myself in Virginia. I had left Iowa and went to Virginia. So now, like, I graduated. I got the knowledge, and now it's time to apply it. I'm like, because I'm not playing no game with life. I'm like, I know the truth. I know everything really about reality, thanks to the most honorable prophet. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to apply all this knowledge that I have. As young as I am, I know